Jai Shri Krishna Bhagavan. Oh, so my dear devotees, today we're hearing from chapter 3, text number. And the translation of the verse, take a look at it. It's a very nice verse. Tan Bogan Hivo Deva Dasyante Yagya Avita Ter Datan Apradayabhya Yo Bhakte Stena Evasa. God says, in charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. Okay, so this is chapter 3, verse number 12. Okay, so it says, the demigods are authorized supplying agents on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. Therefore, they must be satisfied by the performance of prescribed yajnas. In the Vedas, there are different kinds of yajnas prescribed for different kinds of demigods, but all are ultimately offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For one who cannot understand that the personality of Godhead is, let me see, for one who cannot understand what the personality of Godhead is, sacrifice to the demigods is recommended. According to the different material qualities of the persons concerned, different types of yajnas are recommended in the Vedas. Worship of different demigods is also on the same basis, namely, according to different qualities. For example, the meat eaters are recommended to worship the goddess Kali, the ghastly form of material nature, and before the goddess Kali, and before the goddess, the sacrifice of animals is recommended. But for those who are in the mode of goodness, the transcendental worship of Vishnu is recommended. But ultimately, all yajnas are meant for gradual promotion to the transcendental position. For ordinary men, at least 5 yajnas, known as Pancha Mahayajna, are necessary. One should know, however, that all the necessities of life that the human society requires are supplied by the demigod agents of the Lord. No one can manufacture anything. Take, for example, all the eatables of the human society. These eatables include grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, sugar, etc. For the persons in the mode of goodness, and also eatables for the non-vegetarians, like meats, none of which can be manufactured by men. Then again, take, for example, heat, light, water, air, etc., which are also necessities of life. None of them can be manufactured by the human society. Without the Supreme Lord, there can be no profuse sunlight, moonlight, rainfall, breeze, etc., without which no one can live. Obviously, our life is dependent on supplies from the Lord. Even for our manufacturing enterprises, we require so many raw materials like metal, sulfur, mercury, manganese, and so many essentials, all of which are supplied by the agents of the Lord with the purpose that we should make proper use of them to keep ourselves fit and healthy for the purpose of self-realization, leading to the ultimate goal of life. namely liberation from the material struggle for existence. This aim of life is attained by performance of yajnas. If we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agents of the Lord for sense gratification and become more and more entangled in material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves, and therefore we are punished by the laws of material nature. A society of thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. The gross materialist thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed to sense gratification, nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yajnas. Lord Chaitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yajna, namely the Sankirtana yajna, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accepts the principles of Krishna consciousness. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Okay, this is very, very wonderful purport because it is emphasizing the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra as the best way to perform yajna. Therefore, you don't have to do all the complicated, uh, processes that pundits do, all kinds of different types of mantras and all kinds of different types of uh, so-called devotional processes. You simply have to do the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You don't have to learn all these other mantras that they have. If we simply chant Hare Krishna, not only Krishna will be satisfied, but all the devatas will be satisfied, right? However, we can never uh, easily convince the so-called uh, sadhus who are performing these ceremonies because they make money by doing that. And therefore, they're making their living by performing the different yajnas. There's all kinds of different yajnas that you can perform. So, uh, the Krishna consciousness movement follows what Lord Chaitanya taught. What did he teach? Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam. Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatiranyata. Always chant Hare Krishna, always chant Hare Krishna, always chant Hare Krishna. There's no other way, there's no other way, no other way to please the Lord. So that's what Lord Chaitanya was preaching. That's why it says, Lord Chaitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yajna, merely the Sankirtana yajna, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accepts the principles of Krishna consciousness. Well, of course, not everybody accepts the principles of Krishna consciousness. So then they engage in all kinds of different yajnas. Yeah, there was this one man that I knew was a so-called pundit. He had a real thick book like this. He said, "I have mantras for anything you want." The book was thick like that, right? So, yeah, all right, very good. You have so many mantras. But we have one mantra. It's called the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra because it's Maha. It's the greatest mantra in the history of the world because given by this mantra has been brought down from the spiritual world by Lord Chaitanya and given freely to everyone. That's why it's called Maha Mantra. So if we understand that, then everything becomes very simple, straightforward, and full of ecstasy. Otherwise, we get involved in so many complicated things. You have to learn this, you have to learn that. And by the time you learn everything that you're supposed to learn, uh, it's confusing. Right. Okay, so here it says that uh, it says that mm, our life is dependent on supplies from the Lord. Even for our manufacturing enterprises, we require so many raw materials like metal, sulfur, mercury, manganese, and so many essentials, all of which are supplied by the agents of the Lord, with the purpose that we should make proper use of them to keep ourselves fit and healthy for the purpose of self realization, leading to the ultimate goal of life, namely liberation from the material struggle for existence. This aim of life is attained by performance of yajnas. If we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agents of the Lord for sense gratification and become more and more entangled in material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves and therefore we are punished by the laws of material nature. Okay, so this explains why there is suffering in this world today. Whenever there's suffering, it is a message. What is the message? You have made mistakes, and now you're going to suffer for them. Now, what mistakes did we make? We don't even know that they're mistakes. Right? Most people don't know that they're committing mistakes, and therefore they can't understand why they're suffering. And some people get so upset they just get angry. It's the fault of God. But no, it's not God's fault. It's our fault. And ignorance is not an excuse. Ignorance is not an excuse. Why? Because all the knowledge is there today. Nothing is being hidden anymore. The full knowledge that you need to understand what is the purpose of life is in the Bhagavad Gita. And the Bhagavad Gita is being distributed all over the world. It's been around for 5,000 years. So there's no excuse. You can't say, well, I didn't know. Well, you didn't take the effort to know. That's the whole point. You were studying so many other things, but you should have studied also Bhagavad Gita so that you can know. So therefore, it says that if we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agents of the Lord, meaning the demigods, for sense gratification, and become more and more entangled in material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves, and therefore we are punished by the laws of material nature. A society of thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. The gross materialist thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed to sense gratification, nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yajnas. Lord Chaitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yajna, namely the Sankirtana yajna, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accepts the principles of Krishna consciousness. This is a very profound statement here by Srila Prabhupada. Very, very profound. Can we just understand this? Now this is core or the uh, ultimate, let's say, understanding of why we should chant Hare Krishna and never stop chanting Hare Krishna in this lifetime. Uh, Otherwise, if we accept the benefits given to us by Krishna, like, nice weather, nice fruits and vegetables, and nice, everything nice, right? And don't thank him and don't recognize him and don't thank him, then we become thieves. And Prabhupada says, a society of thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. Yeah, their purpose is not to please Krishna. That means they don't have any aim in life. They might say, well, I'm doing this for my family. That's uh, okay, you're doing it for your family, but that's not a genuine goal. If you please Krishna, your family will be pleased also. But if you just try and please your family, don't please Krishna, then no one is going to be pleased. I can guarantee that. All the time in families, there's always some arguments going on, even in the best families. Right? And why is that? Uh, huh? Someone or the other's ego is good. Okay. Even in the Ambani family, right? Mother takes side of one son against the other son. So even in families, people get into arguments and are not satisfied, or they claim this or claim that. So unless we recognize Krishna as the Supreme Personality Godhead and engage in devotional service, we become a thief. And thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. So then what is our aim in life when we chant Hare Krishna? Well, let's discuss that a little bit. Well, you have some expectations that you think you could achieve by chanting Hare Krishna. Instead of chanting Hallelujah, you chant Hare Krishna. Have you ever chanted Hallelujah? You don't have to chant Hallelujah. But by chanting Hallelujah, you have an aim in life. You want to please Krishna, who's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here it says that if we forget the purpose of human life, well, what is the purpose of human life? Go back to Godhead, where we came from. We were all with Krishna originally, but because we have limited free will, we misused it. Limited free will means you have two choices. Either you want to follow Krishna's instructions or you don't follow Krishna's instructions. You can go either way. If you don't follow Krishna's instructions, you get tied up with a very tight rope in Maya, and you unnecessarily suffer. And if you follow Krishna's instructions, then you become free of Maya and you engage in transcendental activities of love and devotion for Krishna. So it's much more easy to engage in devotional service than it is to avoid a devotional service. Because if you avoid devotional service, you get tied up into all kinds of different things, uh, eating meat, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication. And all of that is actually miserable. I remember when I was a kid, whenever it is New Year's Eve, and the community in which I was, there would be a big hall that would be rented, and there'd be maybe 500 to 1,000 people, and there would be, this a lot of tables, and there'd be a big dinner in the beginning of the night. In the beginning of the night, everyone would come, but nicely dressed, and uh, and then they sit down at the tables. There'd be maybe 50 tables with 10 people on each table, right? And then they would eat a big dinner, and there'd be a lot of, uh, you know, whiskey or beer or whatever. And then after that, then the musicians would start playing music, and then people would start dancing. And then by the end of the night, there'd be about 4 or 5 people throwing up, one or two that were taken to the hospital, and the rest of the people, there'd just be wild, completely, zombies, because they were drinking and some arguments were there and this and that. So and I was just a little kid, so I wasn't allowed to drink any, liquor or anything. But I would just be watching everyone. In the beginning, everyone's nicely dressed and they're speaking nicely. There's a nice dinner. But once, the music started, they started dancing, they started drinking, and then there's some fighting going on, and someone is throwing up over here. I was watching all that. I said to myself, "Oh my God, what's going on?" This is having a good time. Didn't look like a good time to me. It looked like it was misery. But it was because of ignorance. Unfortunately, when people, to have a good time, they have to bring out, the beer, the wine, the whiskey, and all that nonsense. And then later on, when I became, I went to college, having a good time was taking out, it wasn't any beer, it wasn't any whiskey, it was marijuana. Everybody be smoking marijuana, and then LSD also. And that was real, really dangerous drug. And all kinds of very bad things happened when people were taking LSD. So this was all done in the name of having fun. But it was not actually fun, and people were dying also, especially with LSD. You can overdose very easily. And now it's even worse. Now they have fentanyl. Fentanyl can kill you, maybe just by using it one time. That's how powerful that drug is. It's very cheap. It's just a little pill like that. It's very, very cheap. And people, they get hooked on it very easily, and then they can overdose very easily and die. So I want you to look up now, how many people die in the United States from overdosing on fentanyl? It's a very dangerous drug, very, very dangerous drug. And it's sold. I mean, because they're little pills, little small pills like that, and they're cheap. What does it say?
74,700.
Wow.
In
70,
2024.
74,000 people. 700. It's really, really sad. Yeah. When they overdose, what happens is, when some time ago, I went to Seattle Center, right? And I saw a group of about 4 or 5 people. I knew one of the persons. It was a woman, and she was like the person who was preparing the fentanyl for the others to take. Yeah. I recognized her right away, but then I saw that, I mean, she was like maybe the leader of the group, you know, and she was preparing the fentanyl, and then she gave it to them, and then one by one, they suddenly got, you know, very, very intoxicated. So when you get intoxicated on fentanyl, what happens is you assume a certain posture, and you stay like that for hours. Yeah. Yeah. And it's very strange, you know. It's like you become a zombie, you know, and it's a very, very powerful drug. And but she was like the queen, you know, and she was preparing the fentanyl. I don't know what they do. They have to heat it up a little bit and then giving it to everyone. And after a short while, you know, they were all, you know, zombied. They were all, you know, it wasn't like drunk, you know, where you can, you know, you make a lot of noise or where they just stood in one posture. You know, some people were bent over like this, very, very low, you know, and just standing like that for hours. They don't move. It's too much intoxicated. Well, they're breathing. They're not awake. They're huh? Yeah, they're not
How they balanced?
what?
How they balanced in those postures? So
I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Very dangerous drug. Okay, why don't you look it up. You probably will find pictures of people who have taken fentanyl and are not moving, and they're in different postures.
one other data point, it seems like the cannabis or the marijuana and the hallucinogen new type of things increased significantly, but people are drinking less relatively and then smoking less. I mean, regular cigarettes and drink. So they've upgraded to the cannabis. That's the data
They
point.
outplayed it to cannabis.
Yeah, regular. In contrast, past year use of cigarettes remained at historically low levels, and in the past month and daily alcohol use continued a decade-long decline among the 19 to 30 years. So they're drinking less alcohol and less cigarette smoking, but they're all changing
Too.
to cannabis or like marijuana.
There you are. Oh, they're still smoking.
But they've changed upgrade to this new.
Do you have any pictures there of people that are very highly intoxicated by fentanyl? They can stay in one position for hours. Sometimes they're standing and bent over. Sometimes,
Yeah,
no?
so here is one person.
Yeah, there you are. She's bent over like that, and it'll stay like that for hours. Maybe like, you know, 5, 10 hours like that. Would you be able to do that? You know, but when you take the drug, you're so you know, intoxicated. You stay in one position.
Mhm. Yeah, they're all bending and
I've seen that. I've seen it at there. I was
mm,
Seattle Center. I saw some. This is not very long ago. I saw not a whole bunch of people. And I lost it again. That's all right. I know what it is.
yeah.
I uh, I saw uh, 3, 4 people. I knew one of those persons. There's crazy women that we had to throw out at a temple, and she was preparing. Yeah, she was. I see it. Yeah, she was preparing the fentanyl. She gave it to the others, and they ended up like that. And she also took it. I didn't wait around that much. I just watched them a little bit, and right in the open.
They prepare for noodle.
Yeah, you have to heat it up. I think I've never, you know, been around, but I saw her. She was like heating it up, and she gave it to 3, 4 men, and then she took it herself, and they were just zombies, like that. It's very, very sad. Very dangerous drug. It's cheap too. It's not really expensive, and they prepare it in some way. I don't know. Anyway, uh, here we have a. How many people? 70,000. Wow, 74,000 people overdosed on fentanyl. 2022. Three. Yeah. Well, that's more than people die from accidents, right? Car accidents. I think car accidents are just like, 20 some thousand people.
Yeah, but fentanyl is a synthetic drug. Amazing.
Yeah, but it's a very powerful drug and it's cheap. That's the thing about it. It's very cheap. And it's a pill, I think. I never bought it, but it's a pill. Wow, that's unbelievable. 100 times more intoxicating than morphine. Wow.
So it was created by Dr. Paul Janssen in 1959, an intravenous surgical analgesic. The drug
To,
is
to stop a person from having pain.
the drug is 550 to 100 times more potent than morphine. Because of its strength, the drug was rarely used except in hospital operating rooms
Yeah.
or on large animals.
Okay.
In veterinary also.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So they have patches, in patches you can deliver the drug. They have nasal spray.
There's a whole industry.
Yeah, and the intravenous.
God, that's like horrible. And like 70,000 some people every year die from it. Only in the United States, right? That doesn't mean, yeah. That's not counting England. That's not counting France, Russia. Oh my God. Yeah. So there's a lot of big money in it.
So fentanyl side effects or effects. Apparently extreme happiness, drowsiness, nausea, confusion, constipation, sedation, problems in breathing, and
There's more
unconscious.
problems than benefits, right? There's one benefit, extreme ecstasy or whatever, and all the other things. Therefore, it's not worth it. And then if you get hooked on it, then you really go down. Then you die also. So, and at least marijuana, I mean, you can smoke it your whole life and not die. It'll make your life shorter, maybe, but if you're careful, you can smoke it, you know, and
So fentanyl works by binding to the body's opioid receptors, which are found in the areas of the brain that control pain and emotions. After taking opioids many times, the brain adapts to the drug, diminishing its sensitivity, making it hard to feel pleasure from anything besides the drug.
wow, that's
So that's
dangerous.
why it's extremely dangerous because once you're addicted,
You
you can't function normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So when people become addicted, drug seeking and drug use takes over their lives.
yeah, when I was doing Sankirtan, uh, near this place where the fentanyl addicts would go to get their free doses of it. And they had this little box. This is in Seattle. And,
University.
huh?
University.
No, it wasn't University. It was the U district, but it wasn't the University Heights. I used to do Sankirtan there, distribute books. You know, and the people had to walk past me to get to the
Yeah.
dispensary where they were getting free drugs, and they had a little box. Everyone had that box, and that would be enough for 1 week. Then they'd have to come back again, and it was free.
Why are they giving drugs?
I have no idea.
Get out of drugs.
Yeah, something like that. But it was completely free, and they were all addicted. And there was hundreds of them, hundreds of people coming in there every week. They give you enough for 1 month, 1 week, right? And if they don't have, if they lose their box, they're in big trouble, right? And I would talk to some of them, and most people were not interested. But the few I met that I could talk to, they were a little bit interested, but they were too much drugged to take to Krishna consciousness. It was very sad. You see that. And some were very young, some were older. Some people got angry at me because I was trying to, talk about Krishna. They were not interested at all. And they have these. Oh, why don't you look it up? The city of Seattle has dispensaries where people who are addicted to drugs can come on a regular basis and get free drugs that help them get off the more serious drugs.
So there's some other drug called naloxone. Naloxone, Naloxone. Apparently, that's the drug that they administer to get people off of the
Heavier drugs.
heavier drugs. And but I guess these people get drugged here and then go there to get undrugged and then again they repeat it.
Yeah, it's another drug that they're taking, but it's less, let's say, dangerous than the hard drugs like fentanyl. And every week the people were coming with their little box, and they were getting the 1 week's amount of this other drug, so they would get off fentanyl or some other drug, and it's their way of life. And there were a lot of them.
King County, 700 people died out of fentanyl overdose.
Oh,
Only in King County.
my God, it's terrible, terrible, terrible. Yeah. And you have people. I mean, once you look at fentanyl is a little pill, if I'm not mistaken.
It's got even spray, patch,
Oh yeah, all those ways.
IV
But is it a pill though?
Yeah, it's a
pill too.
Yeah, you see, it's a little pill, and it's cheap. It's not expensive. That's why it's very dangerous, highly addictive.
It says in 2024, the current street value of fentanyl in Seattle is less than $1 per tablet.
See that? It's very cheap, less than $1. Oh, yeah. The one tablet's enough to make you high for a long time. Very dangerous.
So somebody earning $30 can get high for the whole month.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, they get $1, they get a
What's that?
The people who stand at the
Okay.
traffic signals
Yeah.
never give money.
Oh, of course not.
They can buy fentanyl with $1.
And we get the
You should give him prashadam.
Some few people they take prasadam. I tried, they take it. They're standing on the signal. If I give some prasadam,
Yeah.
they take it. Some people they take
Yeah. And once they take it, they hope you come again, next time. See, this is how dangerous society has become now. One little pill like that, and it's less than $1, and you can get high on it very quickly.
How long does it last for? Like few hours? No?
I don't know. I never took it myself.
Instead of Maharaj bringing them out of it, they are providing like cheaper and cheaper or free so that they will never come out.
Yeah, anybody can. I mean, if you take marijuana, now marijuana is more expensive, right? And then,
4 to 6 hours.
huh?
4 to 6 hours.
With fentanyl,
They'll stay in that high.
in one position.
I mean that the
Oh.
drug will be on you for 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, and during that time, most
Probably
people end up
frozen
in one position. It's not like you take marijuana and you can move around and you can
It's like some of these yogis.
yeah, it's like a yogi.
They're experiencing some joy, and then
They just stay in one position for hours. And it's not they're like zombies.
Very unfortunate.
I'm very, very unfortunate. So glad I never got involved with anything like that. But it's very easy to get hooked on it because it's very cheap and it's very powerful. And you can just imagine the young kids,
Yeah, once they get hooked without knowing, like maybe in the association of problem,
Yeah.
it's hard to get out.
Yeah.
Even if they want to get out.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
I was
Haribol.
going to share what I saw when I looked on the internet about the fentanyl.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, like, why do they stand like that, like croaked over for hours? And it said that they stand like that because their spine becomes like paralyzed and it's painful for them to stand up straight. So they stay in that
Oh.
position until their high goes away.
Whoa. How
Yeah.
about that? It's what? What is that?
During the
Child was
pregnancy, but
Yeah.
when are unable to bear the pain, they can opt for epidural. So they inject it through the spine
Yeah.
so that the back, I mean, at least from abdomen onwards, everything becomes numb.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Wow.
So, but it is like micro grams of fentanyl is injected through the IV to the spine. That is very less, but these people are taking one pill.
Yeah. Oh, unbelievable. Okay, so that's our lesson today. Don't take fentanyl. Stay away from it. It's cheap. That's the thing. It's so cheap. Hey, everyone can afford to get it.
Go ahead.
I call it San Francisco. Yeah. It's I call it the gay what is it?
Instead of injecting fentanyl, they are smoking fentanyl.
Oh yeah, that's why I saw this lady's preparing it for smoking. Yeah. It must be more powerful like that. Yeah. Anyway, we're living in dangerous times, and it's very easy to get misled by all these new ways of becoming intoxicated.
Why doesn't government ban these medicines now?
Well, okay, earlier they banned alcohol, right? Because it was bad for people. So what happened? Uh, the dacoits and the you know low caste people, they started making their own alcohol and selling it. So the United States government decided to make alcohol. They outlawed it at one time completely, right? And then they got into the alcohol business because they tried to put the uh, uh, the bootleggers out of business by making alcohol legal again. You see, and that's why you go into the supermarket. There's a whole section for alcohol. I don't think they sell hard alcohol. They sell a lot of wine. Yeah.
They have everything, I think.
You really?
I don't know. But they give only to the adults, those hard.
And they keep it locked up or something.
Yes, and you have to show your ID and all. Everything.
Yeah. They're selling whiskey also? Yeah. I know they sell wine, and beer, yeah. So you have to go, well, let's see. Do they have state stores where the government sells hard liquor here? I know they have that.
There are stores, but I don't know if they are owned by government or not, but there are stores. Those are like for hard liquor.
Really? Yeah.
But I don't know who owns it.
Usually it was regulated by the government, but I never, I don't have any experience with it, so I don't know. There's this one store in Sammamish that has, I think it's in Sammamish or Redmond, where you can buy hard liquor.
Next to Swagat.
Yes, Swagat, that's it. Not Swagat, but near it. Yeah,
next to that.
Yeah, I've never been in that store.
In Bellevue, you're saying?
No, Swagat in Redmond. Next to the Fred Meyer, opposite to Fred Meyer.
You can buy intoxicating drinks. I've never been in that store, but you see it.
Mhm.
So this is, the problem of today. There are many ways that young kids get hooked on intoxicants, and fentanyl was one of the worst of all because it's extremely cheap, and if you have a bag of fentanyl like this, maybe there's like 2,000 pills. That's like you can make a living, and it's very easy to sell it and get people hooked on it, so they have to have it week after week. I don't know. I mean, obviously you said it was less than $1, right? A pill. Yeah. It's very dangerous. Okay, so we're not gonna take fentanyl. That's for sure. We're not gonna take any drugs. But on the other hand, we will drink milk, especially our milk from our cows. You see how fortunate we are. We don't buy the milk from the supermarket. I mean, some people still do, but once you taste the milk that we have, you don't want that other milk. So we're very fortunate to get milk from our cows. Very, very fortunate. And other people, they're buying whiskey, they're buying beer, they're buying wine. Wine is the big thing.
They advertise as a healthy.
Yeah, yeah. And it's very, complicated. Wine from grapes grown on 2,000 elevation, right? Or 4,000 elevation.
Yeah, and it is like older wine.
And the age.
Age,
Bottle is like
A
10-year-old.
2000 Here, 2000 wine from 2000 is probably way more expensive than.
Yeah. Well, you can get cheap wine, for $10, $5, and then you can get wine that you can pay up to $200, $300, $400 or more. You know. Yeah. So we're lucky we don't have to get mixed up with any of that nonsense. Okay. So we'll stop there. Thank you very much. And don't take any fentanyl. That's the worst thing you can do. But you can drink milk. Let's see. Are you giving me milk in the morning also? Yeah, we are. Okay, good. Morning. Okay, good. Sometimes, I forget things. I really look forward to the milk. Yeah, have some honey in it, maybe a little bit saffron. And, okay, good. So thank you very much. Unless there are any questions, we will stop there and continue 11 hours from now.
Stand straight.
Potty ball.
And we all stand straight.
Yeah.